Howdy y'all, it's your local neighborhood cowgirl here to talk to you about all the things you gotta do even before you leave your house to go driving, okay? So, there's a couple things you gotta make sure that you have on you even before you get in the car. One thing is, you gotta make sure you have your permit or license. You gotta make sure that you have somebody, a guardian, that's older than 21 driving along with you, okay? Second thing you gotta make sure you have on you is the keys to the car. Because if you didn't have the keys to the car, that would just be silly. You couldn't even start this puppy, okay? Last thing that you gotta make sure that you have on you is if you have a vision problem like I do, you gotta make sure you got your glasses on, because without your glasses, it would be very dangerous to drive. Okay, partners, let's head around this car. So before you even get in your car, there's a couple things you gotta do. You gotta walk around the car, make sure everything's okay. At the back of the car, there's a couple things you gotta make sure that you have back here. One thing that you gotta have is your license plate. This is very essential. In all states of the union, you gotta have a back license plate, but here in Oregon, you have to have a back and front license plate. So you gotta make sure you got those. A second thing you gotta make sure you have is your lights. Make sure that there's nothing blocking them. Make sure that they're all good. They're all there, no cracks on them. They look all good. Then you gotta make sure, just in general, that nothing's cracked. Gotta make sure that your car is all safe and dandy, Okay, let's head to this side of the car and make sure that everything's good over here. It looks pretty good. Everything's there. You got your side mirrors. They look good. No cracks, no anything. Your tires. Oh my golly. See, if you didn't check around your car, you could have ran over your favorite flannel. That's just madness. Oh, wowza. Okay, so, howdy, partner. Okay, everything else looks good over here. Your doors look nice. They work nice well. And, make sure it's shut all the way. There we go. All your windows are good. Everything, the tires don't look bulged, deflated. They look nice and good shape. If we head over to the front of the car, there's a couple things you gotta have here too. You gotta make sure that you have your front license plate, looks all good. You gotta make sure one thing that you have to have is your front window. The window is very important in the protection of you and your passengers. If you don't have your front window, then there could be rocks coming in, cars coming in, all sorts of things coming in. There could be all sorts of things flying into your car, and that'd just be very unsafe. Another thing you gotta watch out for is your hood not being popped open. Like, look, mine is well popped open. You gotta make sure that thing is closed nice and tight, or else that could fly up and block your vision while you're driving, and that's very dangerous. So the front of the car looks nice and dandy. Everything's intact. Puppy looks good. Over on this side, same thing as the other side. You gotta make sure that your windows are here. They're all intact. So if you have windows, they have to be not cracked. Everything's gotta look good. Your mirrors have to look good, not dented, not cracked. And oh my golly, imagine if I didn't check my car, I could have ran over this sweet little pony. That's just so scary to think about. I can't even believe what if I didn't do that. Oh golly. There's one problem that I have on me right now. That's that I have my favorite cowgirl boots on. Oh crikey, I love them so much, but they got a nice big heel on them. So I gotta change because heels are not very safe to drive in. Oh no, Chief just called. He said this ain't it. Sandals are also not safe to drive in. They are very unsturdy. They could come off your feet at any second. Oh golly. Okay, let's try this one more time. These are much better. These are closed-toed shoes that are nice and tight on my feet. These will work good and dandy. Now let's head on into the car. Now that we're in the car, there's a couple things we gotta do in here too before we can leave. So first off, make sure that the doors are locked. Yep, the doors are all locked. Okay, second is seat buckles. You gotta make sure you and all your passengers are buckled up tightly. Because if you didn't have your seat buckle on, now that's just silly. You gotta have your seat buckle on. That's the rule. Got your seat buckle on, buddy? Yep, he does. Oh, and look, he's reading the Oregon Driver's Risk Prevention Curriculum Playbook. Now that's a good read, ain't it? Okay, now the next thing is you gotta make sure that your mirrors, all three of them, are correctly adjusted to your liking. So to do this, you gotta make sure you're seated in the car very well, and you tilt your head slightly, and then you make it so that you can just see the back handle of your vehicle in the mirror. And then, so this one looks good. Let's do the right one. Tilt your head slightly till you just see that. And then with your rear view mirror, you just gotta make sure that you can see out of the back mirror, see everything good. Make sure nothing's blocking it. Yep, it looks pretty good in here. Next is you gotta make sure that your car is on. Ready? There we are. She's humming like a bird. The car is on. You can go whenever you want, but there's still a couple more things you gotta do. You gotta make sure that your lights are on, even in the daylight, like right now. It makes it easier for other drivers to see your vehicle. And lastly, you gotta make sure that your emergency brake is off. Here, let's come look at this. All you gotta do is go to the emergency brake, push in very hardly, and push out. There we go, it's off. And now that you did all of that, you're ready to start driving. An easy way to remember all those things is a little slogan I like to use is L Smile. That stands for lock the doors, your seat buckles and seat adjustments, your mirrors, you gotta make sure your mirrors are good, I for ignition, turning on the car, the other L is for the lights on, and the last E is for the emergency brake to be off. And now that that's all good, you can go driving. Yeehaw! Well, thanks for tuning in, partners. Catch you on the flip side.